Welcome into Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us as we get you set with everything you need to know ahead of the Seattle Seahawks Thursday night football matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. We'll give you my keys to victory, plus a look at the injury reports and my final prediction for Thursday's game. We'll get to all of that and more in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, though, I have been told that if you like today's video, that the Seahawks' chances of winning on Thursday night go up a bit. And so I don't want you to jinx anything about the Seahawks' chances of winning this week. So I need you to smash the like button on today's video. If you want to beat the 49ers on Thursday night, then like today's video. Don't be that guy. Don't be the reason that the Seahawks lose because you didn't like today's video. And we're actually battling our 49ers channel in likes this week. You see, they're a little bit ahead of us. So we got some work to do, got some catching up to do. So go ahead and hit that like button, and we'll get started with today's edition of Seahawks Today. The 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in a critical matchup in the NFC West. The Seahawks find themselves 2 games back of the 49ers, and if San Francisco were to win on Thursday night, they would clinch the NFC West division title. Meanwhile, for Seattle, not only is this game about keeping pace in the division, but also keeping pace in the wild card race as well, with teams like the Giants and the Commanders and others also right there on their heels. A pivotal game. The Seahawks did not look great the last time these two teams played back on week 2, but a lot has changed since then. And you can bet on this game between the Seahawks and the 49ers. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use the promo code Seahawks125. You'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down to get $125 to spend for free. The odds for Thursday night have the Niners as a 3.5-point favorite. Meanwhile, Seattle and San Francisco have a over-under of about 43.5 is the number that BetUS has thrown out there. So, what's your bet going to be? Are you putting your money on Seattle, or are you going with San Francisco? Let me know in the comments section. Here's what you got to do. Type C for Seattle. Type SF for the 49ers. What's your bet going to be for this Thursday night football matchup? Let me know in the comments section and get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. Will they play? That's the million-dollar question with this Seattle Seahawks offense in regards to Kenneth Walker III as well as DeeJay Dallas, 2 of the Seahawks' top running backs who did not play on Sunday in the Seahawks' loss that they suffered. Now, the last update we saw with both these players, Kenneth Walker was a full participant in Tuesday's practice, while DeeJay Dallas sat out of practice. And you look at the depth chart, if those guys are unable to go, Travis Homer would be the next man up, and then Tony Jones, who the Seahawks picked up from the New Orleans Saints earlier this year, would be the next guys to fill the void. But that's not the only injuries that we're talking about with this Seahawks team. Ryan Neal was out of Tuesday's practice with a knee injury, as was Al Woods with an Achilles, Joey Blount with a back injury. Brucey had a knee issue, was also resting a bit, so he was out. And then Tre Brown, of course, with an illness as well, was out from Tuesday's practice. So the Seahawks could very well be shorthanded, but the good news that Kenneth Walker was a full participant is a very good sign for his status coming up for this game against San Francisco. So with that, let's go ahead and get you my keys to victory. What's it going to take for the Seahawks to get it done against the San Francisco 49ers? Well, let's start out with the obvious. They got to run the damn ball. I mean, for goodness sakes, it has been awful, the Seahawks running game the last few weeks. And I know you may be saying to yourselves here, well, I mean, sure, last week they didn't run the ball great because they didn't have their top 2 backs. The problem goes beyond just last week. You look at when Kenneth Walker and these guys were healthy, they still weren't running the ball well those other previous weeks. In those last 4 games, the Seahawks have not rushed for over 100 yards. And what's the result been in those last 4 weeks? 1 win. They've gone 3-4 in that stretch. And I do not find it a coincidence that the Seahawks are not running the football well, and it's not resulting in victories. What we've seen across the National Football League in 2022 is you have to run the football in order to win, and so far, Seattle has seen throughout this stretch they are not running the football well. And to On top of that, just something to think about here. The Seahawks have run successful plays on just 38.1% of rush attempts this season. That's tied for the third worst in the NFL. Meanwhile, San Francisco has allowed successful plays on 37.3% of rush attempts. That's second best of any team in the NFL this year. And if you go back to week 2, when the Seahawks lost to San Francisco, they were held to a total of just 36 rushing yards in that loss. And remember, Rashad Penny played that game too. So not great Bob.gif for the run game as of late, and that's got to turn around. They have to do a better job of that come Thursday night of running the damn football and get the running game going. If you can't run the ball well against San Francisco, you ain't winning. Simple as that. So I got a challenge for the 12s out there today. All this week, we are battling our 49ers report channel with Chase Sr. and company, and I got to tell you, Chase, great guy, but that channel, I think they got some fraudulent fans over there. And so the 12s, I want you to make your voices heard. Head over to the 49ers' latest video. The link is in the comments of today's show. And I want you to spam Go Hawks in their comment section. Let's do a takeover of their comment section and let it be known that the 12s are going to be rowdy. They're going to be loud. We're going to take over and make our presence known on Thursday night. The video, it's the 49ers Seahawks preview, the 49ers perspective, Chase's video out there. And check that out and make sure and represent the 12s out there. Go to the comments section and tell them Tyler Jones sent you. All right, number 2 on keys to victory for Seattle, mental toughness. And here's what I mean by this, folks. Think about what the Seahawks are going through here. A Thursday night game, quick turnaround. Remember, you played just on Sunday, and that's just 4 days between games. But on top of that, too, coming in, losing 3 out of your last 4, how well can you put all of that behind? How well can you get that loss out of your mind, but then also be mentally ready for Thursday as well? That's a lot to take in. And DK Metcalf this week talked about all of that. He said against a divisional opponent, it's all about who wants it more and who's physically prepared for a game like this, because it's a 4-day turnaround. For a Thursday night game, I would say the team that's most mentally prepared and who can recover the fastest will come out on top. And so with what DK said, with DK's point there, I like that he's self-aware about this. To me, just to hearing DK talk about that, that's a good sign that these guys know, hey, we got to respond well after a loss, and we don't have much time to do it. We have to put last week behind us real fast. To me, that's exactly what I want to hear from DK Metcalf, and hopefully the rest of the team takes on that mental toughness that DK Metcalf is showing there. Speaking of DK, very important, I think, my number 3 key to victory for the Seahawks is feeding DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett both. Both receivers have been on one as of late, and the numbers, spectacular. DK Metcalf, 72 catches, 869 yards, nice, 6 touchdowns, and averaging close to 67 yards per game. Meanwhile, Tyler Lockett, a shade better, 71 catches, 896 yards, 8 touchdowns, and averaging about 69 yards per game. And Lockett has had 6 straight games with a touchdown catch. So both these guys are really starting to get into a groove. Potentially speaking, on Thursday, you could see DK and Tyler Lockett both cross the 1,000-yard receiving mark. Both of them are going to need to play their best games. And quite frankly, I don't care who plays better. They just both need to play well. Who has the bigger game, though? Now's your turn to decide here on Seahawks Today. If you think it's DK Metcalf, type DK. If you think it's Tyler Lockett, type TL. Let me know in the comment section. Who do you think will have the bigger game on Thursday night? DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett? Make sure and join us for our watch party coming up on Thursday night. We will get things started a little bit early, about 45-minute or so pregame show, and then we'll react to the game in real time, play some games around here, have a few drinks on hand. It is going to be a dandy. We'll have our live postgame show, our mailbag, and everything. You will want to be here. This is the place to be. If you love your Seattle Seahawks, join the 12s and be with us here on Thursday night. Seahawks 49ers. biggest game of the year so far for your Seattle Seahawks. You will not want to miss it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join us coming up on Thursday night. Number 4 on my keys to victory for Seattle, forcing 3 and outs. And what's interesting about this, when you go over the numbers here, the details are in the numbers. And let's start with San Francisco when it comes to the 3 and out front. The 49ers have gone 3 and out on just 12.3% of their drives this year. They have done a really good job of getting first downs. That's the best in the entire National Football League. Now, let's flip things. How about Seattle on that front? Seattle has forced 3 and outs only on 17% of opponents' drives. That's 5th worst in the NFL. So when we do these keys to victory, we always try to find the trends, right? And basically, to put it in a nutshell here, San Francisco does a really good job of getting first downs, and Seattle doesn't do a good job of getting the stops they need. And sure, it doesn't always turn into 7 points, but does turn into field goals and gets teams in scoring position. So with that, getting those early stops. Don't let San Francisco get across the 50. Do what you can to get those 3 and outs. That is going to be pivotal to try to slow down one of the best things that San Francisco does. Now, our final key to victory for this Seattle team is reminding Brock Purdy that he is Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy was the last pick of the 2022 NFL Draft out of Iowa State, and there was a reason why that Brock Purdy was picked as low as he was. And I know Brock Purdy's played really well since coming in for Jimmy Garoppolo, but the truth of the matter is that this Seahawks team, in order to be successful, in order to win on Thursday night, they are going to have to give Brock Purdy a rough day. And the guy I'm looking to in particular is Uchenna Nwosu. And a lot has changed for Nwosu since the last time these two teams met back on week 2. Here's the stats for you. Since then, he's had 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. He's the guy I'm watching for. If you have to point to one player on this defense that could be the difference in a win or a loss, depending on how well they play, Uchenna Nwosu is the guy I'm pointing to, who I'm watching for this Seahawks team, who needs to step up, that could give Brock Purdy some problems and bring him back down to earth of some sorts there. So fill in the blank for me. Who will be the Seahawks MVP against the 49ers? Will it be Uchenna Nwosu? Will it be Geno Smith or Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf? Give me one name in the comment section below. Fill in the blank who you think will be the MVP for Seattle on Thursday night. Before we go, my pick, I'm pulling the upset. I think Seattle finds a way to get it done as they protect home field at Lumen Field. We know it's going to be an incredible environment. Brock Purdy, his first road start here, and it goes up against this hostile Seattle environment on a short week. Seattle needs this win badly. This is a must-win game for this Seahawks team. I think they find a way to squeak it out and get it done. I'll take the Seahawks 27-24. What's your pick going to be? What's the final score going to be? Let me know on social media. You can interact with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tyler Jones Live, and I'll see you next time. Join us for our watch party. Have a great rest of your week. So long.